Masked Hero.
Hello everybody and welcome to another Marvel Champions discussion video. This week we are going to be just doing a quick retrospective of the heroes of 2025, which comes down to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wave plus the heroes that we got out of the Civil War box, being Tigra and Hulkling. I have had a pretty positive thought of most of these characters. When I saw them, I was like, cool, their gimmicks seem fun. Let's see how they play. When I played most of them, I felt like this is good. I can see, might not necessarily be my play style, but I can certainly see where people would be coming from. And I think let's, start right off the bat. Let's get into it because Maria Hill might be the most contentious hero of the year for me. A lot of people love her, and I've played her recently, so I can certainly say that I've come around on her a little bit, but I do think that what I don't like about her is maybe what makes her the most powerful. She is a very consistent hero, and consistency can be very fun. I find Domino to be very consistent. I enjoy her. I find Deadpool can be very consistent. I enjoy him. I even enjoy the consistency that is the chaos of Scarlet Witch. Those may not all make it into my top 10, but quite a few of those three are going to be pretty high in my list of heroes, and that comes down to their consistency. And I think that Maria Hill is a very consistent hero, no question about that. Obviously, she's up on screen. I'm not going to do a lot of actual word for word card reading, but I will try to when I allude to a card, really get into whatever I'm thinking about that card. And Maria Hill is one of those characters where she is very consistent. She has a reassignment ability that can just move around all-purpose counters, and it's very strong. And when you combo it with the shield supports that she had in her precon deck, if you just look around and find the shield supports that really are going to help you out the most, she can be very strong. She can be very consistent. I have found, and I've noticed this trend from other games that I've played, that a really strong archetype or hero or commander, if we're talking about Magic the Gathering, in some cases that might just be an entire deck, a really strong deck. I've actually found that sometimes when I take the most powerful pieces out, I tend to enjoy it more because you get to use cards that maybe weren't seeing a lot of attention, but within the context of this deck, this archetype, whatever you're, this champion, when you get to highlight cards that are less popular or that really kind of were defined by their own limitations. Once you can push beyond them, Maria Hill can take these shield supports that are really strong and make them even stronger. Or we're just 6 out of 10s, make them 8 out of 10s. And I get more out of that, more out of being able to say, hey, this card is, going above and beyond what I was expecting. I enjoy that. I get more catharsis out of that than I do saying, hey, I got and I'm not going to even crap on the Iliad. The Iliad is incredible, but the Douglas or the other one, no, the Pericles, the protection one, very strong. The Cersei also very strong, and the red one as well. I can never pronounce it, so I'm not even going to try to. But these are all very strong cards, and I think at a base level, play with them. They are strong. You should enjoy yourself. Play with them. To me, I just don't enjoy that is the entire fixation of what I'm doing with Maria Hill. And this is especially in a cooperative game, you can choose to opt out of that. And I think that's part of the strength of the game and what makes the game so replayable is that you don't need to optimize. You can optimize, and that's why a lot of people love Maria Hill. I don't love her as much because I did not like her optimize. It was just too much of the same thing. But at that same time, I think she has an incredible ally. Nick Fury, I think, is incredible. I think that All Points Bulletin is a really interesting twist on the fact that Maria Hill does not have any attack or thwarting events, and I think that's an interesting perspective to have. And additionally, I have not gotten a lot of use out of the hard call, but I will say that I have found it when I'm using it, and it's the kind of card that I have in my hand at just the right time. It pays dividends. And obviously, as I've already covered, the Iliad is incredible. Her entire just hero kit, I think, comes with a lot of really cool cards. I think that she is a hero that can thrive a lot on those cards. So don't take any of the shame that I might put on her or the dirt I might put on her name. Don't take that as don't play this hero. I think you should play this hero, just know that she might be an acquired taste. So Nick Fury, on the other hand, was a hero that I really gelled with. I found him to be a lot of fun. I found his assault and stealth suit upgrade to be a really good time. I loved latching onto that. There are other people that I think know how to play him better that will find that you can hit that upper limit of adding 3 damage to an attack with his assault suit easily. I have not found that to be the case. Not that it doesn't happen, it's just that I think I imagined a world where I was going to be using events to be dealing 8-9 damage in a turn, and those turns do not come around nearly as often as I thought they were going to. That said, like I said about Nick Fury, the ally, I found Maria Hill, the ally that is in his kit, to be very strong, very helpful for what you're trying to do. I think I stand by the fact that I find Concentrated Fire and Covert Surveillance to be really good cards, really fun cards, and I will fully admit that in my early evaluations, I don't think I was putting enough respect on Fury's Flying Car. I think that is actually a stellar card. But beyond that, I don't really feel like there's a whole lot of extra excitement that I can put on Nick Fury. He's an acquired taste, and he's an acquired taste that I definitely gelled with. He is the kind of hero that I think when you don't win, you don't understand why you lost. And it really comes down to the fact that Nick Fury is asking you to be making a series of correct decisions. Now that is kind of what Marvel Champions is at the end of the day, is trying to play the best way you can. I will say, just quick shout out to the Daring Lime. He put out a video at time of recording, I think it was last week. So it's going to be about 2 weeks back from when this episode comes out. But he put out a variant where you take standard cards, you take the standard kits. I believe in the video, and I could be wrong, I apologize if I'm wrong, but he talks about using standard 1 and 2, shuffle them together, and I think you take out of that 10 random cards, not just 7, but then that allows you to have a standard set in your encounter that you don't know the math of. And I think that's actually a really cool, interesting idea, because I kind of play that way. I don't sit there and hypercritically go, okay, let me look at the discard pile, look how many cards in here. That's a part of the game that I could really just min-max to make the correct decision. I just let Nick Fury be my correct decision. Do what I can with Nick Fury, the best I can, to play the game as optimally as possible. And I just don't have the time to be dedicating to thinking about, okay, so we've seen this, we've seen this, we've seen this. Obviously I'll look to see if we've run into shadows in the past yet, or, maybe advance. But I don't get hypercritical about, okay, so I know that we might have a caught off guard in the deck, or we've already run through caught off guard, so we know that this is not where my mind goes. And again, kudos to Daring Lime. He came out of refrigeration to bring this up, and go check out the video. I will try to remember to put it in the description. But yeah, overall, my mind drifts there because just Nick Fury, yeah, he wants you to make a lot of correct decisions, and he is maybe the most tactical hero that I love to play. I think there are probably other heroes that would very much fit this description. Black Widow is a very fun hero, but I think that her side of the table can get so clogged with preparations that I just go into not even decision paralysis, trigger paralysis. There's just so many responses or interrupts that could be happening, and I just miss them. And I don't feel that way about Nick Fury. So that's why I hold him a pretty high claim. He has a lot of the things that I like about heroes in his kit, but he doesn't have the mental load that I think has been a detriment to me as I have played across the nearly 60 heroes in the game. Maybe we have broke 60 heroes in the game. Holy cow. Hello, if you are enjoying this content, if this happens to be the third video of mine you've watched today, I would really love a subscription. It goes a long ways. Additionally, if you have discretionary spending, this is not required, but I do have members opened up. I want to make members only content. The demand's just not there yet, but they do get to see the videos as soon as they are live. That can be 24 hours notice. That can be a week and a half's notice, but you get that content right away. Any form of encouragement, any form of support is definitely appreciated. I won't take up any more of your time. Next up, we have Black Panther, who is a hero that I feel like I was very wrong about. I did not hold her in very high acclaim, and I think that that was unfair. So I have recently had a chance to play Black Panther in a leadership deck recently, and I think that that really brought her potential up a lot. I understand there are people that say, play her in a repurposed protection deck. I have tried that. I just couldn't make it work. It just wasn't my thing. And again, that's really what I think a lot of criticism of any hero is going to come down to, is are they your play style? They might read really fun, but when you go to play them, you're just like, this isn't how I play the game. And I think that was the problem with repurposed Black Panther. It seems like a very strong archetype. It just wasn't the archetype for me. I will say, just having T'Challa be the target of something like Inspired or even like Sidekick, so you can do the suit up plus the side by side combos with T'Challa. I think just making him so that he has a little bit more consistency. You can flip down, you can go to Shuri, you can heal up, or I guess you can use her ability to go find Panther tech, and then you can use T'Challa to actually get the special off of those. That worked out so much better for me. She still probably is in the middle of the pack for the year, but I think she was super, super low. She might have been below Maria Hill after my first few games with her. I saw the potential. I just could not ever meet it. And I feel like that's there's several heroes like that over the course of the game. I really wanted Iceman to be awesome, and he is awesome at times, but I feel like I'm always sort of left wanting more. Same thing with Nightcrawler. I wanted him to just be awesome. And again, it might just come down to play style, but he never clicked with me where I went, oh, this is how I'm going to play him. And I know that there can be definitely big turnarounds. I was very negative on Psylocke. I did not understand her. I did not like her. I was very negative on her for a year after she came out. And then I finally got to play her in a couple decks that I really enjoyed. And she just skyrocketed. And I think that there is a chance that when the right suite of cards comes along and I get to play them with Black Panther, I'll really enjoy her. And because the leadership deck was fun. It's just there are other heroes that I like more this year, and there are just other heroes in the game that I like more. But I'll say that I think this was an interesting twist on what we saw with the core set Black Panther, being able to say, hey, we're, instead of having to rely on Wakanda Forever, which is still here, you now just have the ability to use your basic powers on yourself or your identity-specific ally or your events to be able to trigger these events. Plus, you do have at least one copy of Wakanda Forever. I think there only is one copy, to just get as many of them resolved as possible. Plus, they have the extra, you can discard them to do this added effect. I'm impressed with what they did, and I think that it is a stronger hero than Black Panther T'Challa. It's just we have more experience with T'Challa, and so I can go into autopilot a little bit easier. I'll fully admit, I was wrong. I had her very, very low. I had her a mental score of 2 out of 10, and she's probably closer to a 6 out of 10 for me now. And yeah, just overall, I think fun hero, and I think that her gimmick is really fun. It's just, it took far too long to click with me, and to a detriment. It deprived me of a good time, and I think it deprived Black Panther being better explored. Next up, we have a hero that I think I stand alone in liking, and that is Silk. I think a lot of people do not like Silk. The general consensus that I get is that she is not highly regarded, and I get that. I think she's a little bit complicated, possibly a little more complicated than I would normally want to take on, but I think that there's so much there that's fun that I just always have a good time. So, Silk has this gimmick where she can tuck up to 4 cards under her. She can then do shenanigans with it. In fact, there was a deck I saw that I alluded to a couple weeks back, her and Pool, where you basically try very hard to find Dreadpool, and then you just use her cards to basically, which one is it? Is it Eidetic Memory? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So you use Eidetic Memory. So when Dreadpool comes out, you basically just swap him with a card that's currently under Silk, and then Dreadpool is just stuck under you. And you just make sure that you never get to a point where he gets shot back out. But overall, I really loved Eidetic Memory. I really loved the upgrades, I guess Outwit, Spider Claws, and Spider Reflexes that would bump up her stats based on the number of cards that shared a encounter set with the thing in question. I really enjoyed that. I think that J. Jonah Jameson is a really fun card. And Get the Scoop is not something that I would advise doing too much with, but I think it worked out. In my opinion, I think Get the Scoop is a little bit more well-tuned than Jubilee's card, like Going to the Mall or something. I don't hold both of them in very high regard, but I think I hold Get the Scoop in higher regard than, whatever the shopping spree. I think that's what it's called. That said, all the kind of gray area stuff, Wall Crawl is amazing. I love Wall Crawl. I love Swinging Silk Kick. And I really find a lot of power in Smooth as Silk. I think it is a card that helps you to immediately on the first turn start doing what your hero is looking to do. And that does come with a bit of a price because it's not always that easy. But I found it to be a lot of fun. And yeah, just overall, I think that Silk is a really fun hero. All these things are acquired taste. Things that I enjoy, you might not enjoy. Things that you enjoy, I might not find as fun. And that's just, that's the fun middle ground of this game. But I think that Smooth as Silk is a tempo setting card. It gets you into what you're trying to do. There's a lot of things to remember with Silk. You need to remember that when you defeat minions, actually it's the defeating side schemes and resolving treacheries that I always drop the ball on. But if you get into that tempo, you can find yourself in a great sweet spot, and in the right scenarios, Silk just dominates the game. I hold her in pretty high regard. I think that she probably falls behind Nick Fury. I think the hero that I've been most positive about today, I think she falls behind Nick Fury. I think Nick Fury probably is my favorite hero this year for one reason or another. But yeah, overall, just love Silk. Next up, let's talk about Falcon. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think there is so much potential in Falcon. I think he's not as fun for me as I wanted him to be. I really saw him as, this is going to be so much fun. We're going to do all these shenanigans. His gimmick is great. Let's play the top card of the encounter deck. We're going to do this, that. We're going to do Bird's Eye View or Bird of Prey, dealing damage, removing threat. And it is fun. It's just, I think it's not as fun as I wanted it to be. It just, I don't get the same enjoyment that I was hoping I was going to. And that's unfortunate. I think that he is a hero that is great to be a support. I think that even as a single player hero, I think he has a lot of ability to control the game. And this isn't even a consistency thing. I think, and with Red Wing, can certainly be a consistency thing. You can make a deck that very much just focuses on Red Wing and does a lot of really good work. I think I wanted Falcon to be like a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 hero. Maybe he is, but he really dropped in like my excitement for him as the year kind of dragged on. And that's unfortunate. I wanted him to be great, and he just wasn't. Just kind of looking through everything here. I do like Battlefield Awareness. I don't want to overlook that. I like Vibranium Microwave, another card that I think is really great. He has a lot of good cards in his deck. Just look through his kit. It's fun. But at the end of the day, I like Bird of Prey, and I like Bird's Eye View, and I feel like that is really where the excitement drops off. Soup Kitchen, really fun. Don't get me wrong, but the shenanigans, like Aerial Recon, I wanted to be really fun, just wasn't. And again, it could be, it just wasn't for me. And I very quickly lost interest in Falcon, which is unfortunate because I was really, really excited about him. Capping off the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. wave, we have a hero that I was excited about, and I really think he paid off. And that is Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. I have played a lot of Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier. I think he has a really good play pattern. I think that his ally, Black Widow, does a lot to make things like Arm Block and Metal Punch into very viable paths for a turn. I think he does have a little bit of a tempo that I can sometimes get off of, where just things don't go the way I want to. But frankly, if you have Winter Mask, if you have the Winter Rifle out, I think that you are set up to be taking out a lot of minions. Electrical Discharge is very well positioned to either just take out a minion or put a stun exactly where you need it to be. These are all very positive platitudes. But yeah, just overall, I've really enjoyed what Bucky does. And I could see it getting old there's certainly parts of it, like I did not use Safe House number 30 as much as I thought I was going to. And the cybernetic arm, realizing that you can use Bucky's ability to discard the cybernetic arm to get the cybernetic arm into play, you basically, like, it pays for itself, is a fun trick. Yeah, overall, I think his kit comes with just so many bangers. Like I said, I already saying the praises of Black Widow, Arm Block, Metal Punch, Electrical Discharge, they're all great. Silent Infiltration is good. The Winter Armor is good. The Winter Mask and the Winter Rifle are great. Yeah, I think his kit is just stacked. And it might be, pound for pound, it might be the best kit that came out this year. Bucky's kit I think might be the most consistent kit. Like, it has the most, like, 15 for 15. Whereas there are maybe 14 for 15. But whereas, like, other kits, you know, kind of have, like, 11 for 15. I've loved playing him this year. And I'm so happy that he's in the game. And I love his gimmick, and I just love that he has so many attack things. He's very susceptible to stuns, but that's why you give him steady. Now let's turn the corner and talk about the Civil War heroes. And unfortunately, the entire wave got broken up because we were not getting Hercules and Wonder Man like we were supposed to. But that's fine. Yeah, these two heroes are something else, aren't they? So I think that Tigra is a really interesting hero in terms of just what she's able to do with using Hunted to do minion summoning. And what I will say is I played her against the Thunderbolts, and she's kind of nerfed there because there's only one minion in there. So once you hit that, you're kind of SOL. But overall, I think this idea of, like, getting minions to swarm around her so that her stuff's cheaper. I think just the combination of you have Cat's Hat Amulet and anything else that, like, cares about it, like the Tooth and Claw, her attack gets cheaper, and I think that might be the only card that combos with that. But either way, even if you just have the necklace or the charm or whatever it's called, the amulet, if you just have it as a way to basically save you a resource or two here or there, suddenly her turns become very easy to just sort of, like, do whatever you need to do with them. I had a lot of fun with her, and I didn't think I was going to. I think that having played with her now, it is fun. I found Moon Knight to be an incredible ally. I found Sharp Claws to be really helpful. You get both of them out, and suddenly you're able to do Overkill and Piercing with your hero. Overkill is not something that really comes into basic attacks very often. In fact, I'd be very surprised if that's something that 5 heroes have, but I'm open to being wrong. Yeah, I just found her to be a very fun hero, and my early evaluation versus where I ended up after playing her once or twice was dramatically different. I immediately knew, okay, I was underselling her and I need to get onto the train because, yeah, Tigra is pretty fun. And wrapping it up, we also have to talk about Hulkling. And I knew Hulkling was going to be fun. He looked really fun right off the bat, and he was very fun. I think that his shape-shifting gimmick is interesting. What was the one that I used a lot of? So his shapeshift card itself, I did not think was going to be great, but I kept finding reasons why that was the exact card that was like the key to, you know, popping off, having great turns every turn. Shapeshifter Strike is also a lot of fun. The fact that you get to ready up your upgrade. I will say there was a little bit of an issue that I had with his Shapeshifter upgrades. You know, you look at something like Shapeshifter Strike that's going to ready up your upgrade. But first you had to find a way to get your upgrade exhausted, which was not always something that was easy to do. That said, when you were able to do it, when you were able to draw a card here or heal some damage or what have you, remove some threats, deal some damage, all that stuff. If you can do it, it's great. But I actually found that it was sometimes hard to get everything sequenced up just the way I wanted it to. Basically trying to say that Shapeshifter Strike did not do as much for me as I was hoping it was going to. That said, the fact that you find the upgrade you want and then his other upgrades are just worth 2 different resources means that he has really good economy. And I knew that from the beginning. Like day one, when I saw him previewed, I think it was after I looked at the stream that Chard Gambit did. I think he pointed it out, and I was like, I completely missed that. Just overall, I feel like he has really good economy. His the ability to be on his alter ego side, go find another shapeshifter, shapeshift upgrade, and yeah, just on and on and on. I found this to be a fun card, a great card. I'm so happy that he's a hero that exists, because I do think that he is a hero that most people would not have pegged was going to be in our game, and I'm happy that he is here. I think he's a lot of fun. I don't know where I would necessarily put him, because this isn't trying to be a list video. This is just trying to be a discussion of everything that happened and where I was wrong and where I was right. I don't even know that I was right, but I think the most important thing is where I was wrong, because I evaluated some of these heroes incorrectly. Hulkling is a hero that I'm looking forward to getting to know a little bit better in 2026. I did not really get to play him as much as I would like to, even accounting for the fact that he existed for the last 2.5 months of the year. As November and December rolled in, I had so much less time to just like even get out of the house and like do this kind of stuff, or even like just pull up a table at my own house and do this. I think all these heroes I got reps in. I feel like I'm confident in the positions I expressed, but Hulkling and Tigra, they're both heroes that I want to see more of in 2026, and I think that there will be time for that. But yeah, overall, what were your impressions? What was your favorite hero? What hero do you feel like you evaluated incorrectly, either wrong or right? Or high or low. You said, oh, this is going to be a great hero, and they dropped down. I've heard a lot of people say that about Falcon. And then what heroes did you go, oh yeah, this is going to be like the worst, and you were like, oh, you know what, actually this is pretty sweet. But until next time, thank you for your time, have a great day, and remember, you are doing great. Keep it up.